Good morning all, welcome back to the channel, and sorry I've been away for so long. What are we now? 22nd of August. Been away in the US for a few weeks, so sorry I've not been in touch and given any form of updates, but I thought I'd check in with you guys and give you a bit of an overview of what's been going on. Even though I've not been here, we have been doing some stuff. In fact, I've been back for last week actually, and been doing some things in the meantime. So before I start gabbling away, if you don't mind, obviously with the likes and subscribes down below, that'd be much appreciated. Thanks for the comments. I'm going to be getting onto those tonight. There's been 5 or 6 comments from a video I uploaded a couple of days ago. It was just the finish off really of us having the bedroom air conditioning installed, which I'll give you an overview and an update on in a minute, because there's been stuff going on that today. And I can also talk about the performance and what I've learnt on air conditioning, which hopefully will help you guys. One of the biggest problems on the island here is the cost of energy, absolutely astronomical. So I've learned some new things, so I might be able to pass it on to you guys in the hope that you don't make the same mistake that I make. Okay, so let me quickly overview what we're going to do. I'm going to walk you around, show you everything in case there's any changes that I've done that I've not made you aware of, and then you can ask in the comments below in case there is anything. In the meantime, what we've done, we did that, I videoed that last time. We've done some weed sheeting underneath the front of the house to try and keep the weeds down. We've obviously planted some plants which have done a bit of a growth spurt since the last time I videoed. The pool is still amazing, although we still have the edge. Don't pick on my edge. Air conditioning is, we've got a little bit of a problem with the air conditioning, which I'll explain in a minute. We've got a solution to that. We've had the bedroom air conditioning installed, which is absolutely amazing, and I'll update you on that as well and show the install on that. I've just had someone out, so today, I've had someone out today with regards to sorting out a solution on the patio. And anyone heard of pickleball? I think you find you have. Certainly if you're in America. If you're not, it's an amazing sport. Look it up, pickleball. My friend in the US introduced me to it. It's quite addictive. So I brought over a couple of bats, and my solution for the patio seal, the meeting I've just had, is about sorting out the cracks, getting it porous so we can apply some product, and then put a pickleball court on there. So I'm going to update you on that in a minute, but obviously in order to do that we've got to sort the shades out, which I've got a couple of shades. I'm going to update you on that as well. The cottage is pretty much as is. There's no real change on that, although we did have some water leaks before I went away, and I've got a couple of little solutions which I'm going to show you in a second. So where do I start? I'll start here. We put this product down here. This is Henry. At Coyman's we got it coloured, if you remember rightly, so it's a very, very light grey. And it's amazing. It's cheap and it's gone down well. Unfortunately, concrete is porous and it can get damp. It can get damp from, obviously it can't get damp down because obviously I've got the rubber on it, but obviously it can get damp from the side, it can get damp from underneath. And we have had a few compromised areas on the rubber, unfortunately, which I'll show you now. Here's one for example. So all of these black dots are where the rubber has actually bubbled and come off. So that all needs to be done. So you can see the brown, that's where we get a bit of a pooling of water. So somehow it's managing to compromise the surface. Now I think Henry is a water-based product, so you'd need to have a silicone-based product for that not to happen. Although, if you had a slight compromise along here, for instance, and the water got into the concrete, it can absorb along and come up underneath. Same here, and we had the last bit here. Remember we redid it? Well, it's happening again. So then as you can see here, it's come off. So it's imperative we get this bit right. So we're gonna have to get all of these cracks re-ground back out again. I know, deja vu, Groundhog Day. So we're gonna have to get those all ground back out again, and then we're gonna find a proper product that goes in there to fill them off, and then we're gonna get this completely sanded down or acid washed to get it porous. So as you can see, it's very smooth. But as you can see here, this is where a bit of acid's gone on there. So you can feel a little, it's like sandpaper. Smooth, rough. So it needs to be more coarse than that in order for whatever you put on to adhere to it. So sometimes you would put a thinned concrete primer down on here and then put the paint on top of that. So what you're creating is a product adhering to the floor and another product adhering to another product. So, but the guy that's just come out does it for a living. So he's had a quick look. He's going to look at the solutions, and I think he's going to use the Sherwin something Shield, the yellow one. There's the yellow can. I've got it downstairs. I'll show you. But I think he's going to use that. So my idea, crazy as it is to put a pickleball court on here. So there'll be a net in the middle, which will come away. Obviously, it'll be something temporary you can put down. Obviously, because of there being a pool and there being steps, we'd have to go going this way, so the ball would hit the wall or hit the windows. It's a softball, by the way. So otherwise you'll be chasing balls that way and that way if we do it the other way around. But obviously lengthways it would be better. It'd be better to have the court going this way. Some shades above, so it'll bring some green. Again, the green's going to get hot. So there's the other downside you have to consider in Barbados. Whatever colour you put on the floor, if it's not a white, you are going to burn your feet. Obviously, when you're playing some form of tennis or pickleball, you're going to have trainers on anyway, so it's not as if it's going to be hot for us to play on. But obviously, when we want to walk from this building to that building, or just get through with bare feet, it will be bloody hot. So yeah, unfortunately, with every problem comes some form of solution needed, as we say in life. There's always a sacrifice of what you want. Okay, Paul's hand up. His hand is stood up quite well. Put your teeth back in. Here we're seeing quite a few brown marks that are appearing when the water lands, and I think that's from the Casarina, so I don't think we're ever going to get around that. We still haven't sorted out the tiles in the trough yet, which needs to be sorted out, and our shower head, it's not even been 12 months and it looks like it's about 400 years old. So we're going to have to try and find some form of plastic outdoor shower head, because this one is just not standing. Yeah, it just looks awful. I mean, 10 months old, and we've literally tried to clean it and lubricate it every month, and it's still gone like that. This is standing up quite well, although you can see some rust coming through, because unfortunately, whilst I've been away, no one's been looking after it, so I'm going to have to get some cleaner on that later on and some oil. And on the steps, we've actually realised that we need to put the actual, Sherwin-Williams do like a little bottle of sand. And what you're meant to do is roll it when it's wet, sprinkle the sand on, let it go off, and then give a roll underneath. And now we put it on here, it really has created a different grip. As you can see here, he's tried it on that step and that step. You can see the colour differences, but you can feel the difference. This is, when this gets wet, it's like an ice rink. But here, you've got a nice grip to it. So again, we're going to do all of these steps in the sand. The downside to the sand, obviously, it will attract more dirt and grime, which is a shame. But anyway, it's got to be done. And then when we redo this surface, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to literally put a sand on this, and all that's going to be sanded as well, so that it will be smooth, but there'll be a grip to it, because I just hate any form of brush effect in concrete. It drives me crazy. We're also still really struggling to try and get the pathway done here. Again, everyone in Barbados seems to either not be interested or too busy. But the guy I've just saw now, he says he can do it, so he's going to do the patio first and then potentially look at this for me. But again, I'm still looking for someone to do that. So if anybody knows anybody that does concrete on the island that's good, let me know. We just want to land up having a concrete path all the way around with nice straight 2 foot apart gaps all the way along to make it look as if it's slabs. That obviously creates a way of stopping the concrete from cracking. So it'll be a BRC pour and a smooth. Air conditioning units. These two, unfortunately, are great, but they're just not powerful enough. So we're going to be upgrading these to 5 tons. I told you that already, but we're also going to be upgrading the machines downstairs, the cassettes, the blowers. They're going to be upgraded as well. So we're going to 5 tons, which will be 10 in total for the front of the house. They're working okay, but they just really struggle to get the temperature down, which means they never go off. And as a result of not going off, my air conditioning is making my electric bill per month, huge. This is the new one that's in the bedroom. This is the brand that they push, Canyon, I think they're called. This is a 36,000 ton unit, which is the same as these, so roughly 3 ton. But these are commercial, and this is more domestic. So let me take you downstairs if I can see after all this brightness, and I will show you what's happened. Don't forget to give me a like, and please comment if you can. That'll be great. Down here hasn't changed, although a little bit more organised. And the bowling alley is still the bowling alley. Again, full of crud, we need to get rid. If anybody knows anyone wants any insulation, by the way, I've got loads of rolls of silver insulation. It's massively expensive and you can't buy it on the island. So if anybody wants any insulation for their attics or their walls or anything like that, I've got loads of rolls of it. So let me know. And this is all polystyrene insulation for containers. So if anybody knows anyone that wants some container insulation, let me know. Down here, obviously, is where we've been spending some time. It's really cool down here. So the good thing about that is it's not hot. The bad thing about that is that it means we have a leak somewhere in our air conditioning. The air conditioning that's meant to be going up is feeding down here somehow. So this is what we're going to look at changing. So this is what I call a cassette. Some people may call it something different, but in here you have a coil, and the hot air comes down from the condensers outside, and it goes over the coil, which is freezing cold, and comes out with cold air. But as a result of that, they've got to suck in hot air from the house, put it through here and cool it and push it back into the house. And then it's just a circle, yeah? Hot air in, cold air out. And as and when the upstairs cools down, the return air lands up becoming cool. So the cooler it gets, the colder it gets upstairs, and the quicker my unit will turn off. But unfortunately, with this setup and this one, I don't seem to be getting it turning off, so it's on all the time. Here is the new install, which I've shown you already briefly on the last video I updated, which was in June. So this is a return going upstairs to the wardrobe on our bedroom, and there's another return there in the bedroom, and then there's a cold feed, which I showed you last time, and another cold feed there, and another one into the bathroom. This one's going to land up having a rigid replacement put in, because the rigid is a lot better. We decided to put one of the pumps here to pump the condensation water out, and we've connected it straight into the sink on one of the ensuite bathrooms, rather than running it all the way down to the basement, the bowling alley, and all the way along again. Obviously water's got to run, so in order to go through the wall there, it's got to be lower at the other end, and we just aren't able to do it because of the door frames. But we've literally got this unit has to have this installed. So this is downstairs. For some unknown reason with this particular brand, this has to stay downstairs. Oh, this can be upstairs, sorry, but I don't want it, I want a nest. So in order to have a nest, this has to remain, which means this will end up being mounted probably about there. And then what we've had to do today, painstakingly, which is what this cable is here, we've had to painstakingly drill a hole. We've had to calculate where this is upstairs, and we've had to painstakingly drill a hole through here and feed the cable up to feed the nest. And this has then got to be connected, this cable, it's got to be connected to that thermostat. So this thermostat lands up being turned right down. At the moment it's not even on. So it's set to 29. So at the moment this will be set to like 18, and then the nest upstairs will be able to go down to 18. So the nest will override this, but this has to still be put in place apparently. So a bit of a crazy situation. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. So this morning, I didn't film it, but I've been down here with their guys working out how to get this cabling up through here. So what we've had to do, we've had to cut a hole in here. We've had to cut a big square so we can get a drill through here. We've had to drill the hole up, and we've gone through into the cavity of the wall. So if you imagine this is the block wall upstairs, we've got a U-channel metal galvanized on the wall itself, and then a plasterboard. We've had to drill up in between that. So we've had to guess and calculate. We've had to make a calculated guess where that hole would be. So we've managed to get straight up into the cavity. Then it's been a case of trying to find our way up into the bedroom, which I'll show you in a minute, to mount the Nest thermostat 5 foot on the floor. So that was a mission, but we managed to do it. We managed to find a 1/4 inch copper pipe, and we fed that all the way up. I managed to pull that through the hole, and then we managed to attach a cable to it and then pull it all the way through, which has worked. So the thermostat is in. He's coming back in a minute to connect it all up, and then hopefully we can start controlling the air conditioning from the bedroom rather than down here. Obviously what we're asking down here to do is to cool this area to 28, 29, whatever else, whereas in effect upstairs it's probably 25, 26. So we'll be able to start working out how effective it is. But the temperature we're getting out of the floors on this particular unit is like 9 degrees out of the vent, so it's absolutely brilliant, but it is doing a smaller space. So anyway, as you can see, it's on now. It's so quiet. So it's quiet because it only has to do this one room. So I'm right next to it, you can hardly even hear it. It's definitely on, so you just saw me switch it on. Whereas this one over here, you can hear it from over here, look. But this one needs to be powerful because it's got to blow into all of those rooms. So completely different, same size, but completely different unit. So this one is very powerful and is needed. That one is a smaller room, which is not needed. So the aim now is to potentially look at doing this bedroom here. So we have a bedroom here right above. This is a bedroom. So we're going to do a unit here, same as that. Then we're going to do another unit here, and this one's going to be slightly bigger because it's also going to power the bathroom. And then another unit over in this corner for the 4th bedroom. So it'll be another 3 units. Now, what I wanted to tell you, which I learned, is obviously air conditioning takes up a lot of energy. So one thing I have been doing, as you know, in the last couple of months, I've been looking at solutions for solar. Solar is bloody expensive because, well, I mean, there's not many people on the island that specialise with it. So as a result of that, they charge quite a bit of money to install. So buying the product from America and importing it is not mega money. It's not cheap, but it's not mega money. But what I've been doing is what everyone would do, is literally looking at the solar systems and just installing them, and then air conditioning, same thing. Well, if you're going to try and do a house which is reducing its electric bill or going off grid, then the last thing you want to be doing is installing loads more standard 110 or 240 systems, because it then puts more onus on the battery system that you put in. So yesterday there was a guy that came out and saw me on the solar side, and because he's a specialist in solar and has done it for 20 years, he said, have you considered solar air conditioning units? And I'm like, I didn't even know there was such a thing. So apparently there is a guy out in America that's designed systems that are specifically designed for off-grid situations. So he provides the military. So to give an example, if there's like remote containers in the middle of nowhere where soldiers are, etc., there's no power getting to it, they rely on solar. So the air conditioning units in these porta cabins that can be in Iran or whatever, in a desert, have to be cooled. So this guy's designed an air conditioning unit that's just as powerful and just as effective as a normal powered unit, but it runs off of batteries. So from my point of view, I'm like, okay, so can you get me some information on that as soon as possible? Because if it's a similar price or even cheaper to put in, and I'm gonna go solar in the house, and it means the demand on the solar is a lot lower. So at the moment, with our house on standby, fridge, freezers, etc., and our 3 current air conditioning units on, we're running at about 70 amp hours, something like that. So we've got a 200 amp fuse board times 2, so we've got 400, but technically we can run 200 up to 200 amps without an issue. So we're 130 away from the maximum of the unit, but running at that sort of ampage 24/7 is going to give you about a $2,500 to $3,000 Bayesian dollar bill a month. Mix that with another 3 units going in, being on 24/7, then we start talking $3,500 to $4,000 a month. So obviously, from my point of view, I want to be on batteries and I want to get off the grid. And the only way to do that is to either not put in the electrics, not have them on, or consider a different option. So I'll update you as when I know more on what this guy says, but it looks like that could be a great option for us to consider, obviously installing good air conditioning units that are designed to run off batteries. The downside to that, I'm assuming your solar system and your batteries have to be put in first for them to even work. But anyway, what a great idea. It means I could potentially have those running on the batteries and these ones running on the electric, and I can break things up a little bit. So anyway, I'll update you as I want to know more. If there's anything on the air conditioning or the solar you want to know, then hit me in the comments below. Ask me direct, and I'm obviously in the midst of talking to these people now. I can certainly ask questions for you. With regards to the cottage, there's nothing really has happened in the cottage. I think the last time I saw you guys, it was pretty much all done. So obviously the kitchen isn't 100% finished yet. We still have, I want to find a fridge to go in here rather than a wine fridge. I did see one in Price Mart of the week, during the week, 500, but it looked smaller than that, so I don't want to go any smaller. So if anybody knows in the island where they do some proper 600 wide, designed for obviously a 600 carcass replacement, please let me know. Ideally, I'd like one that's obviously going to have a door on the front rather than obviously one that looks like this. But worst case scenario, I don't mind having one put in there and having it freestanding. We did have a colour issue, obviously, with the end panels you know about. Yesterday I did see Lloyd, the kitchen man. He's going to obviously have another think on that, and he's also coming out to give me a price to provide some more units downstairs for storage, more units in the garage for storage, and also the doors in the kitchen, which he still hasn't done. Obviously all here is all done, you know, the bed's in here, the floor's all done. The one thing I have done, obviously, I'll move that, I'll talk to you about that bit in a minute when I've finished gassing here. But downstairs, I'm going to show you what I've got over the road. But basically, you know, we had a few leaks, but what we've actually got now is these little sensors. I showed you the sensors. They're now working downstairs because we now have internet in here, which is good. So because they were too far from the house, they weren't working, but now we've got those in there. It is showing I've got an 86 to 89% humidity down there. So I do get a lot of errors and warnings coming up telling me about how high the humidity is, but it is Barbados. I don't think you're going to change that. But the other thing I want to show you in a minute, in fact I'll do it now, because I think it's over here. Whilst I was in the beautiful US, I made some more purchases. Let me see if I can find them. No, maybe over the side, I'll show you. But anyway, it's by Meon, or Moen, or what they're called. that it actually goes on the water input into the house. So if there's a leak, it can actually sense there's a decrease in pressure, and it monitors your usage. So if it feels that the usage is, obviously turn all the taps on, you're going to do that every now and then, but if it sees that that's happening and it's not normal, i.e. not normal behaviour, then it automatically cuts off the water, or at least texts you and says, we're analysing behaviour that's not normal, would you like to cut the water off? So it's another way of just monitoring. If there's any form of leaks, bear in mind that most of the pipework here is plastic. I've had a few issues, as you've seen, with obviously pipework giving in, valves breaking, product being faulty, and it's cost me about 1,500 Bayesian in the loss of water. Now, Barbados Water did give me a discount on the last one. I think it landed up being, in the end, I want to say it was $800 and something, and they gave me 260 discount. They said, it's not your fault, but here's 260 back. So it still cost me 500, nearly 600 Bayesian in the end. So, but what can you do? Not a lot you can do. So I'll show you if I can find it, because Sherman's done as usual. He's like my wife. He tidies up, and I don't know what he does with stuff. If I ask him, he'll do the same. So I don't know when he's not seen it. But anyway, I'll show you that in a minute. But it's a big valve, about that big, with a big green on-off, and it connects to the electric and the internet. And it just basically says, if your water's level's gone down and it's not you, would you want me to do something? And it's like you can say, yes, I want to turn it off. So as I'm talking, I am looking. So if I see it, I'll let you know. But anyway, so I want to get that installed. I want to get a plumber out to fit the filters I told you about, which are the ones that soften the water and turn it back into drinking water. I'll show you those in a minute. They're amazing. I think anyone that's US based anyway should definitely have them installed. So it's like a water softener machine, but it's not a machine. It's no electrics, no salt, it's just two filters. One completely takes the water back and softens it, and the other one turns it back into drinking water again. So I need those installed, and whilst that's being done, I may as well get the flow sensor installed as well, just so that I've got a separate pair of brains monitoring my water. Let me quickly show you what we did in here today. So that was the mission for today. Ideally, I wanted it 12 inches from the corner, but again, because this is a partition wall, that on the corner here you have obviously a U-channel, and then 16 inches away there's another U-channel. So I've had to come through the floor where I could, and the furthest I could put it away was here. So what we've done now, that's now installed. So what we had to do is cut through, and we had to drill. So we had to measure from this end to here, compensate for the inchage from here and the plasterboard, and then drill up behind the plasterboard through the floor, which we did manage to get done right. Then we had to push a copper pipe all the way through the floor and try and drive it all the way up here to here, drill a hole and try and pull it through, and then attach a cable to it, which is what we've actually done. So that's now done. I need to tidy up, but that's now all in and done. All he's got to do now is connect up those, connect this one to the other one downstairs, then I can start controlling it. But the coldness coming through here and here, and the bathroom's absolutely lovely. In fact, sometimes it's too cold. So for once, air conditioning that works. I'm sure it's costing me a fortune, but it works. I've just come back from the US, and all my friends have got air conditioning. It all works fine. Everyone's loving it. I'm like, as you can see here, ours is on at the moment. We're keeping it on. It's set to 26. It's not far on 26, so it's working now. And now we've got the air conditioning on often. It is keeping the place at 26, and it's absolutely perfect temperature. But again, if I wanted to go down by 2 or 3 degrees, the systems we have in place aren't going to be able to do that. So if we change the units, it will give us probably another 2 to 4 degrees to play with. And it does mean if we do want to get down to 22, 23, or we have a lot of people in the house with a lot of body heat, then it should set us in a good stead. And hopefully the units will kick off every now and then and come back on, and come off and come back on. At the moment, they're just flat out all the time. This one at the moment is telling me about a filter, but as you can see, it's set to 27, but it's actually going down to 26. Oh no, it's not. It's set to 26 and it's currently 27. So this has been on since 7 in the morning. It still hasn't got to 26. So what are we now? 2 o'clock. So we've been on for the best part of 7 hours. Have I got that right? Yeah, 7 hours. And we're still not at 26. That bedroom would have that at 15 degrees by now. Electric room. We had to change a trip during the week because it was red hot. So I will show you what that means in a minute in case you have the same problem. All the doors have been painted whilst I've been away. Sherwin's actually painted them all again, and all of the hallways and all everywhere. Everything's been repainted. I've had all the walls redone. Everything's been repainted apart from the laundry room and the bedrooms. This is all out of liquor paint all the way through the main house, all the way through the main hallway. The electric room, I think you guys saw that we had this all built in. I mean, the electricians have been here and made it all dirty already. But as you can see, we built the box in, we filled it all, it's all painted. The next stage is now putting some trunking up here and running the actual CCTV and the internet cables through up to the unit. I do want to take the unit down to give it a bit more space above because at the moment it's too high. So we need to do that. But again, that's all boxed in now. The trip, as you can see, is sitting there. It was this one here and it was absolutely red hot. It was air conditioning. I was like, well, at the end of the day, it's working flat out, but it should not be boiling hot. Just to let you know, so for instance, this one's a 20 amp, as you can see, 20 amp. This one's a 30 amp. The only reason why that would get hot is if you're literally at 28 to 29 all the time. That would make it hot. The air conditioning runs at about 18, so there's no reason why it should have been hot. But basically what was happening is it was loose. So on the back of the trips themselves, you've got these teeth. Well, those teeth weren't gripping very well and it was creating an arcing, and that was what was making it overheat. So Mel, my man from Melco, came out. If you need his number, let me know, he's a good guy. Came out with that out, changed it for another one. But again, I could see that it wasn't new like these ones, it was something we used one, so should have been a new one in the first place, Mel. But anyway, he sorted it from, which is the main thing. I also need to take the stickers off and put the stickers back on so we know what's what. But I think you'd agree, still needs another lick of paint in there, but once we've actually got the conduit up, etc., we'll get all the conduit painted in as well. I don't like seeing different colours. We've got the first coats on here, for instance, so anything that's not white, I've had them repaint. And then in an ideal world, we should be bringing the boarding out to here, but without being rude, I can't be bothered. So we're just gonna get a nice lick of paint in there, move the unit down, get the conduits in, and then potentially put some form of tiling on the floor in there because I want to try and raise it. And the long-term aim is to physically run tiling through here, all the way through the hallway, down the steps to the front, even including the front driveway. That's what I want, not driveway, sorry, the pathway. So run that all the way into here. That will create a height difference here, and then so you'll have a step here for initially, so I'm gonna say step. You'll have a difference of about 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch in height, and then at some stage we're gonna do something with flooring through here, potentially. But that's one thing I do want to do, turn this into a nice feature. At the moment, it's a lovely big long room. We do have a bit of a water issue out there, as in the water comes down and comes under the door. So again, the tiling would lift up, it would stop the water coming under the door, and then we better run it all the way through here. That's if I've obviously got the height on that door, which is questionable. There is a light there, as you can see, but you know my luck, the chances are I won't have enough height to put tiles down. But anyway, it's all that counts. The next stage, we are definitely going to be busy in here in the next couple of days because I'm now finally had the insurance claim put through for the shipping and the import duty and tax for the replacement door. Calvin Elkins and co have been sitting on my door and my window that have been broken and supplied, that are obviously over in the cottage. They won't release them until I pay the tax and duty on the items. But as you can appreciate, I've already paid for them and had them delivered once. So my argument is, you broke my product, but I have to then pay to have it reshipped and pay the tax and duty on it again. I'm not doing that. So the individual that owns Kestrel has confirmed that I am in the right. It is meant to cover both the product, the shipping, and the tax and duty, and that's now been processed. So I've emailed them on Friday saying I'm ready to go, but I've not heard anything from them as always. So in the next couple of days, I'm assuming someone will be bothered to reach out to me at Calvin Elkins, and I can pay to get that released from their depot and delivered to my front door, and then I've got the task of taking that one off and putting the other one back on again. So that's where we are with that. Where else are we? We've had the whole roof done. So whilst I've been away, Sherwin has been busy, bless him. So let me take you around here. One thing he has done, which must have been awful, he's been up on the roof and he's put the Henry roof rubber up there. So I'll take you up there quickly and show you. It's going to be a Stevie Wonder moment, because once you go up there, it's so bright, you can't see anything for about 10 minutes when you get back down. So let me go up the ladder with both hands, and I'll click back on it. Okay, up on the roof. Right, so not perfect, but we have the first coat of white all the way on the roof, as you can see the empties. So we're already getting a build-up of black stuff everywhere where the water settles and whatever else. But again, it's just another further protection on here. And also for this area, more importantly, just another colour that just reflects the sun, which helps keep the house cooler, obviously. So as you can see here, we've had rain in the last couple of days, which is lovely. but we still get puddling on the roof. Ready mix, tut tut tut. So yeah, as a result of that, you do get this brownness coming on here, so we're gonna have to get up here every now and then and just give it a quick broom to make sure that the brown and the water, and again, I don't know if it's the water going stale or a mixture of obviously some of the actual sediment from the trees landing, but you do get a little bit of a brown colour coming where it sits. So it does seem to be different here than here for some reason. So whether he's gone over that bit again, I'm not too sure. But anyway, as you can see, it is really bright up here. It's definitely having an effect downstairs and keeping the actual sun off of the concrete, which helps the air conditioning units not have to overpower. We've also bought the shades, 2 shades. So I'm expecting in the next couple of days to mount one. I'm going to go about 12 inches here, so same point here, and pull it, which means it will probably be about, it will start about here, and then they're 5 meters square. Then I'm going to do another one at that end, so hopefully they should cross in the middle and create a bit of a shade downstairs. They were from Koymans. They weren't cheap. I think they worked out about 700 each, obviously Bayesian dollars. So we are definitely going to have to get those installed sooner rather than later, certainly if we're going to be putting a court there. I'll tell you what, you would definitely get a sunburn up here if you came up here. It is so hot, and obviously the reflection of the white makes it even worse. So anyway, that's all done, so fair play to him. It must have been bloody difficult to roll up here because it has been very, very hot in the last couple of days, so bless him. Well, that's another thing done. This one obviously is slightly off colour, but we had that done ages ago, so I think we just need in the next couple of weeks just to do another couple of coats up here, or at least another coat. But everything seems to be holding okay so far by the looks of it. Obviously the solar will end up being up here as well, so one thing I have talked to the guys about is potentially creating some steel girders that go across the actual patio and putting some solar over there. It will create shade. It'll be ugly underneath again, but we can get a nice big canvas that sort of goes from one side to the other to cover it from looking up, but it might give us a nice shade that we need, and also keep the weight off of the roof. I don't really want lots of weight coming up here for obvious reasons. But anyway, other than that, obviously I'll get down from the roof and see what else I can update you on. Okay, other than that, obviously plants, they are getting there. They've had quite a bit of rain in the last couple of weeks, so fingers crossed they are starting to grow a bit better. But we still can't do anything with this garden until we get the path done. So the palms seem to be sort of bedding in quite nice, one here and one here. I think we're going to be putting the third one in the middle here. I don't know what we're going to pick yet, but this one's come up nicely. These have grown quite nicely. They just need trimming now and a bit of tender love and care. So it'd be nice once this is actually done. It'd be nice to get some turf down and some nice plants. But anyway, other than that, I think that's all I've got to do really so far. So sorry to boring you to death and gassing you to death, but I've had 6 weeks of not talking to you guys, so glad to be back. Don't forget to ask me any questions or give me comments below that you want. And obviously, likes and subscribes would be greatly appreciated. I think we're at 9:55 by the way now, so that's gone up a little bit, just by organics, not by me, that's for sure. Oh yeah, well, this is another thing we did as well. What you had to, the overflow here, because of the extra rain we've been having, it just literally pours down here, so we've had to literally run our own pipe here, which will be painted green in the next couple of days, but we've now run our own little pipe along there. So again, I would build this in. Now I know what I know. I would literally, when I built this, I would have had the overflow in mind. The overflow to me would come out the bottom here, and this would be on the inside, obviously taking water like a toilet system. So it should be pouring in and going into a drain pipe, coming out, and it should be seen. But unfortunately, the job's been done now, so we have no choice but to put this big ugly pipe down the front of the bloody house, which is a real shame. But anyway, it's functional, it will take the water away, but in an ideal world, what we need to do now is dig this a bit deeper, have it under the soil, and create ourselves another little soakaway over here. Again, soakaway, for anyone that doesn't know, it's just literally something that's about 2 to 3 foot in depth, about 2 to 3 foot in square, and just fill it with stones and then just put some sand over the top so you can't even see it. This one obviously is a bit of an eyesore, but I do want to change that one. But yeah, this one's got the irrigation overflow coming out, and also the water from the heat pump that still has not been fixed by A&E pumps. But anyway, the condensation will go straight into there as well. So, but yeah, so if you're building a pool, make sure that if it's got some form of, all pools actually have an overflow. Whether you got it coming out the actual pump room, whether you got it coming out here, there's an overflow. Ours lands up being here, and at the moment it is it's now having to look as ugly as that. So make sure that whoever you're using to do your pool plans that in properly, because with extra rain you have no choice but to have an overflow, because obviously the pool is full to where it needs to be, and any extra that goes in means it's got to come out. So bear that in mind. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else I need to say. I think there's been lots happen. We've had lots of little maintenance bits done. It'd be interesting to see what the guy comes back with regards to this. Seeing this with a pickleball court on it will be absolutely awesome, and I should be using it every day, that is for sure. Again, anyone's got any experience on doing tennis courts or anything like that, please let me know. I'd gladly talk to them, certainly after we've got the preparation on the floor done so we get it right. And then maybe we can film a few games and you can see what I'm talking about. But anyway, look it up, pickleball in America. Everyone seems to be playing it at the moment, so it's definitely going to be something that's going to get quite big on the island here, that's for sure. So other than that, I'll leave you to it. I'll check this, I'll upload this tonight. Any questions, obviously fill your boots down below. Other than that, thanks for watching, appreciate your time, and I'll check with you at some stage in the week. Take care.